Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Mothering with Rum. A video. I'm not sure if it's going to be quick, but I wanted to make a video about the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion. The last episode aired last night, and I just had a lot of thoughts about it. It annoyed me to my core. A lot of things that I saw on that reunion, and I just wanted to give it a quick review and see if I was the only one that thought these things, and to see what you guys thought of it. So I have my little notes here, so let's get into it. Okay, all right. Now, right off the bat, I felt like Andy Cohen was being extremely biased against Monique and her in the altercation that she had with Candace. Now, Monique and Candace aren't the first women on any of the Real Housewife franchises to get into altercations, but it seems like the way that he came at her was a bit too much for me. It stood out because you're clearly showing who you think is a favorite in this particular situation here. When Portia and Kenya got into a physical altercation during one of the reunion shows, it was Portia was just given an option to just go home, right? And I remember during the next season after the reunion, Portia, this is for Real Housewives of Atlanta now. She went to anger management, and the ladies questioned her about the anger management, and she did all these things. But when it came to the reunion for the season after that whole altercation that they had, he wasn't in her butthole the way that he was with Candace. So it makes me think that he has something against Candace, and something that he said during the second part of the reunion maybe kind of makes sense to me when I'm sorry, not Candace, Monique. It makes me feel like he has something against Monique, because during the second part of the reunion, Monique made it clear that the check that she gets from Bravo is not the end all to be all for her and her family. Now, we know that they chop and screw stuff, so we don't know if this was said during the first hour of the filming, during the 5th, or during the 11th, because he did say last night that they had filmed for 11 hours. So we don't know when she said that. But it seems to me like if he did not like that she was in this position where she didn't need him or his network or the check for her family to sustain and have a financially substantial lifestyle. And I don't think a lot of people in his position like that, they would rather you be under them than be on the same level or maybe even above them, especially if you may be a person of color. I'm just saying. But just showed Andy was just doing the most, and there was a lot of gaslighting that was going on during that reunion with Monique. Because a lot of the things that she was saying, the producers put in the show to back up what Monique was saying, and also it came out that Candace, in her own police report, said that yes, she did use the glass to try to attack Monique to get her off of her, but they never addressed that. They also never addressed the way that Candace talks to people on Twitter, even though in the first episode of the series of reunions, Andy did tell her, and again, we don't know what hour that it was, but he did tell Candace, if you would just stay off of Twitter, your life would be easier. So you're confirming that her mouth is reckless, and that her mouth will at some point result in her own demise if she is not careful. So if you already have this opinion about Candace and her mouth and how it can hurt her, how can you not relate it to the altercation that she had with Monique? Mind you, violence is never the answer, but if you can relate, if you can relate it and match it to one, I don't see how you can relate it and match it to something else. But the whatever that was that. Giselle had a stank face throughout that whole third episode that was 2 hours long. Okay, she was upset, and I think that Monique bringing out the binder on her pastor boyfriend or husband, whatever, I think after that Giselle just checked out. She wasn't trying to entertain anything that had to do with Monique, because Monique put her and she put her man on blast. Now I think that Giselle, if this whole thing is even true about them being together, her and the pastor, right, I think that Giselle has just came to the conclusion that he is who he is. He's going to do what he wants to do regardless. But as long as I am getting the church's money, the people's money, I don't care. I think that could be a part of it. Or I also think, because based on what Jamal put in his live that he did, which is Giselle's daughter's father, he did say that he agreed to go on the show to help save her job. So at the end of it, it could all be just a plot. So this plot word is coming up. It could have just been some kind of like smokescreen to keep her and allow her to have her job still. So if that's the case, how much could Giselle defend? Not much, right? So that's why she was so quiet. That's why she had the stank face. If it's the truth, what can you say? I mean, you really can't deny the truth, with lies, especially against someone that has a binder of truth against you. So I don't know about that, but Giselle, you got daughters looking at you, and the fact that your daughters and your father, you have family that they are not with it, and the fact that you're ignoring it makes me believe more so that it wasn't even real, which is just for a storyline, especially when this man, he had a baby in like March or May, whatever the hell they said. Whatever. Let me see what else I had to put. Robin, Robin gets on my nerves. The whole tire track hairstyle was just annoying in and of itself. When she was like, I'm so happy that Juan Dixon is not here, and she kept saying it over and over, like she said it like 3 times. Like, so if Juan Dixon was there, what was he going to do? He had to coach a game. He couldn't. It's like there's no assistant coaches. No one else could have been there to coach while he would have been there supporting his woman if he really cared. That whole storyline is a bunch of crap too. But that's another woman that just accepts the situation for what it is, and that's okay. But you're not gonna talk it up as if you had this big savior behind you, because if you did, y'all would haven't maybe gotten divorced. Maybe you guys could have worked it out, and if you did get divorced, it would have progressed in a natural way. It wouldn't have progressed in a way where he still stayed there in the house after you guys got divorced, but he was seeing other women. Seeing other women while knowing that you're still waiting for him to acknowledge you and to claim you, and he wasn't. So that engagement, that could have been a storyline too. But good luck on your destination wedding, whatever the hell that was. But Robin, she can go. She said herself that her story came full circle on the show. So that means if it's full circle, there's nothing else in the circle that needs to be revisited or needs to be patched in. The circle is full, so you can take that circle, you could roll one out, and you can just go about your way. All right, Karen is the grand dame for a reason. Okay, Karen is the oldest of the group. Okay, she's married to the quote-unquote black Bill Gates. Karen knows how to play the game. Yes, she comes across as kind of like sneaky at times. She does come across as someone that she's always twisting words around to confuse people, and I think that when she does that, she ends up confusing herself. But Karen knows how to play the game. You've been around for a while. You're married to someone that's successful. They have money. You watching them make their own money moves and whatever, and how they're making their power plays to get the money that they have. You're gonna pick up on a couple of things too, and I think that that's just what Karen does. She knows how to muddle the waters enough where her own shoes aren't getting dirty, and they hate on that. That's on them, but they should learn from that, I think. And here we go with these notifications from my child. Jesus Christ. All right. The whole exchange between Karen and Candace, to me, it was really weird. Candace brought up that she sent a text to Karen about burning in hell. And Candace's mental health, she reached out to their bosses to get her help because it's something that's in the contract. Candace took it as if Karen did that to get her fired. It could be true because Karen, again, is very tricky. But this is another example of many that I have listed here, or in my mind, of why Candace needs to learn what to say and who to say it to. And I think that's something that you learn as you get older, as you mature. And Candace seems very, very immature to me. I think we're both in our 30s, but I'm older than her. I think she's at 32 or something like that. I'm not telling you my age. But she has a lot of growing up to do. So just because you're angry, you can't text everything. Like Dorinda Medley said from Real Housewives of New York. She said, say it, forget it, text it, regret it. You can't text everything that's on your mind. There's times where you're going to have to be an adult and you're going to have to put your big girl panties on, and you're going to have a conversation with people about how you feel, about why you felt the way that you did, and you have to discuss it. At the end of the discussion, you may not come to any kind of disagreement, but at least it's very clear verbally what you feel, what I feel, what I said, and what you did not say. Text messages get misconstrued all of the time, but I'm sure that Candace's, it wasn't misconstrued. What she said was exactly what she meant. And that further proves my point why when they showed a clip when Karen said about Monique at some event that Wendy was having, Karen was saying, well, I'm not sure, Monique may have some kind of mental issue where she can't control her anger. And it was brought up in the reunion that Monique called Karen about it. They spoke about it. And whatever they spoke about at the time, they were able to discuss it, whatever, but they are still friends now. That's why that whole texting thing as an adult, especially during conflict, it doesn't work all of the time. You have to be able to pick up the phone and speak about what's going on to get a better clarification on what the person meant, and then again about what you say. But Candace is not there, and for someone that has a parent that is in the health field, I don't understand her mental reasoning at all. I'm not saying that she has any kind of mental thing at all, but she's not mentally mature. I just don't get it with her. So after after Candace went in the back of the room, she left the show, the stage, and she went back into the room, and she started crying about everything. I don't understand, why she's lying or whatever. Okay, she's not lying, but she's telling her side of the story, and you're telling yours. So, I mean, it's going to be two different perspectives. Excuse me. It's not going to be because I'm not going to agree with you just because you're crying all the time. I was also there. I saw what I saw. You can acknowledge that I may have a different perspective too. That also takes away from Candace just not being mature. So anyway, she goes back. Andy browbeats or attempts to browbeat Candace, bless you, Monique, into apologizing to Candace. And Monique says, well, I'm getting there, but I'm trying to explain things from my perspective, which she had every right to do, because Candace was going off talking. She's throwing digs at the girl throughout the whole reunion from the episode 1 of the reunion series to the last. She's throwing digs at her the whole entire time. Now, you can't be that scared about somebody, that scared about someone that attacked you, where you have all this quote-unquote trauma from, but you're yet throwing digs at her the whole time at the reunion. Monique is not paying attention to you, but you want to be seen so bad, you want to be acknowledged so bad by Monique, because to me, you want to provoke a reaction from Monique to say, you see what I mean? Here she goes again. Complete narcissist bullshit, okay? Oh, excuse me, I didn't need to curse, sorry. So she comes back after all the crying and all the this, that, whatever, and at some point Monique does apologize, but then Candace is like, well, I would be able to take her apology if it had happened before, but it's been 365 days. Who's counting like that? So then now it comes out too, and it kind of makes sense that the filming of the reunion was done an hour. Y'all forgive me. A year after the filming of the season. So it's been a whole year that's passed. You say you've been going to therapy. You say you've been on pills. Okay. If that's it, it's a shame, but okay. You say you've been doing all this. You have close access to therapy because your mother is in the mental health field. She's like a therapist or some shit, and you still crying like that over this. And the girl apologizes to you, accepts her part, tells you where it came from. She says it didn't really involve you, it was a buildup of stuff, but what you did, it triggered me because of something that happened to me in my past. It triggered me, and that's why I reacted the way that I did. And I apologize if for hurting you. I'm taking accountability for my actions. This is all what Monique said. I'm taking accountability for my actions, right? I'm sorry that you're not healed, and I hope that you will get your healing at some point. It's a power phrase. But Monique apologized, acknowledged it, and the girl talking about how she's not sure if she can accept the apology. So I'm the kind of person where if I apologize to you, it's only going to happen once. If I apologize to you about something that I did to you and to offend you, but you still want to drag it on and on and on and on and on, and you still want to cry and play the victim when you are as well culpable as I am in whatever the schism might be, then I'm done. I have nothing else to say. You need to then work on you, figure out what's going on with you, and that's it. But you're gonna leave me out of it. I don't want you talking my name anymore after that. After I apologize to you on national TV, I don't want to hear anything else about it because I apologized to you, young lady. If you don't want to accept it and still want to play the victim and still want to cry and have your makeup all fucked up, during the rest of the whole show, then that's on you. I'm not doing it. So that just still another example shows how much growth that Candace needs. The girl is not it's like a whole sense of, it's like a whole sense of like entitlement that she is not entitled to. I don't care if you grew up in 90210 zip code, or 11212. That's Brooklyn, if y'all don't know, zip code. You cannot be that entitled to think that I'm gonna grovel on my knees on stones for you to accept my apology. It's not gonna happen. So that just was a bunch of crap for me, and I just think that it's more so for Candace that she has trauma of being embarrassed on TV. If she had gotten dragged behind the scenes, I don't think that girl would be going through all of it, because it was on TV. That's why it's a big thing. Okay, she's a big act. She wants to be an actress. She did some Lifetime movie, now she's singing, whatever. It's all about putting on for TV. I don't think that she is that. I don't think that the girl is that traumatized. I think she is putting on for TV. Now, if there was a Candace in a Walmart, right? And y'all are in the line. Everybody's in the line trying to buy a PS5. And Candace is in front of you. And you happen to bump her or something with your cart, okay? And this Walmart, again, it could be in Beverly Hills. It could be in Arizona. When someone like Candace turns around and starts doing all this under your chin, and just talking, and you think that she wouldn't get knocked the fuck up in Walmart, but because it's on TV, it's different. That's why I say it's because it happened on TV. That's why that girl is embarrassed. Because if it was on the street, she probably would have got the same treatment with her mouth. But you know what? I digress. When Monique was talking about her triggers, and when she acknowledged that the altercation had nothing to do with Candace, but Candace triggered something from her past and it has activated something in her. I felt that, and I think that people, as always, like I was always taught you can't disrespect someone's personal space because something might pop off, right? Just because you can say something doesn't mean that you should, okay? And Candace, to me, is a prime example of not knowing that your words can activate something in people. You don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know what their traumas are. So if you are just respectful of people as a whole, you wouldn't really run into those kind of issues. But Candace, she has pride in, yes, I have a mouth. Yes, I'm a quote-unquote wordsmith. I haven't heard you use any fancy words yet, but yes, she's a quote-unquote, wordsmith. That she has a mouth. Yes, she can be, she can be extra, she can be foul, but it doesn't warrant so and so. You got to be careful who you are talking all that crap to, because that just might be what you get. You asked to get dragged, and you've been asking from the season before, when the girl was pregnant, mind you. So you got dragged now. You gotta be careful with your words. You don't know who you're talking to. It's just like road rage. That's a perfect example to me. I could be driving and somebody could cut me off, and I want to have an explosive reaction. You know how many people have gotten shot because of road rage? You don't know what people have in their mind, what they're going week, and you don't even know what people have on their possession. Okay, so you want to go off on somebody in the street or in the car because they cut you off, or maybe they something happens on the road, but y'all know what I'm saying. And then driver B is popping off because driver A cut them off, and then driver A comes out and shoots them in the head. Just because I have that horn to beep, or because I have that mouth to come out the window and yell and scream and what the F, what are you doing, whatever. You don't know what people have, and that includes hands and trauma and everything else. You don't know what people have. Candace needs to grow up, and yeah. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So at the end of it, the last thought I have on this, because it was a 2-hour reunion, so that's why this video is a bit longer than usual. I'm glad, because I heard this morning, that Monique left. She decided to not return, and I'm really happy that she decided not to return. At the end of season 2, when I saw, I'm sorry, not season 2, episode 2 of the reunion, when I saw, to me, I felt like Monique there was a whole bunch of gaslighting going on between all of the women and, unfortunately, Andy. I felt like, Andy, you have the cards. You were supposed to be the neutral party in all of this, but you were like, it's like you were trying to like vie for to be a cast member, you know, for the next season, and it was just weird to me. But I'm glad that she decided not to come back, because I wouldn't have either. That whole issue and the whole plot that they had, talking about Chris Samuels' child not being his, and the way that they did not, the women and Andy did not like how Chris Samuels was coming on that episode, because he wanted to clarify and hold everyone's feet to the fire about that rumor about their son, and the way that they didn't like it just doubled down my feelings of they need to not return. I would have gotten the contract too, read it, held on to it, and at the end I would have been like, nope, F y'all, because like Monique said, they don't need it. I think it's more so a fact of Real Housewives of Potomac needing Monique, because Monique carried that show on her back, and she wasn't even in all of the episodes, so that should tell you something right there. So I'm really glad that Monique gave them the big, you know, F you, and decided to not go back. And that just comes to show you too, it's peace of mind over everything. There comes a time where you have to decide, you know what, as if it's a little bit of change or not. If it's a customer that's you know, bringing an income for you, but they're stressful, they're aggravating. If it's a relationship, okay, I've been with them for a long time, but it's getting kind of tiring now, I can't deal with it. If it's a familiar relationship, if it's friends, you know, we've been friends for a while, but you know, I just can't take this girl, I can't take all the drama, whatever. Your peace of mind should be, your peace of mind should trump everything. And that is why, to me, Monique has been the winner of the whole season, and especially of the reunion. Monique and her husband and her family. So that's my review of Real Housewives of Potomac season 5 episode 3 reunion. It was like 3 parts. I didn't want to do all 3 parts because I thought that was just too much for me. But that's my thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think. It was a long video, but again, it was a 2-hour reunion, okay? And I didn't even touch on everything. So remember, moral of the story is peace of mind over everything. All right, like, subscribe, and share if you care. See you in the next video. Bye.